Hi everybody, Dr. Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 4 books, host of 2 PBS specials. Here today to give you another tip on how to help you create the life you want. How to bring more clarity, confidence, creativity to everything you do. Today I want to look at the subject of love and safety and give you some ideas about how they might go together, actually how love can keep us safe. Most people don't think of it that way, but I want to explore that. It goes along with a quote that I'm sending out to those 5,000 people on my quote list. It's one of my own. It says, "Love will keep us safe when we commit to the kind of qualities, characteristics, and relationships that we would recommend to those we love." Let's kind of look at that and see how we can apply that to everyday life. Clearly, what I'm not talking about is falling in love or being in love or romantic love. Not that I don't think that is a wonderful experience. I recommend it highly as the first step in a relationship. I call it Disney World. It's wonderful. There are rides, there are fireworks, everything's clean, but you can't live there. A lot of people mistake that first falling in love for the energy that will sustain the relationship. Not a big fan of that. Wonderful first step, but not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about, just as the quote says, the kind of qualities and characteristics first that we would recommend to someone we love. I mean, if you were choosing those, what would that look like? Would it be courageous? Would it be sensitive? Would it be flexible? Would it be confident? Would it be compassionate? Would it be understanding? Would it be intelligent? See, there's a lot of wonderful things when we ask that question. What qualities and characteristics would I recommend to someone I love? When we commit to those, we are using love as the energy of choice. Love is the guide for our life and our safety. How does it keep us safe? Well, if we apply it to relationships, basically we say, this is the kind of relationship I would recommend to someone I love. Certain qualities and characteristics are embedded and imbued in that relationship. Certain ways of being, certain ways of engaging each other. And when we're doing that, when we're being sensitive and understanding, confident and kind and compassionate and curious and flexible and courageous, we then create a certain type of relationship that is different from the kind of relationships that are created when we're being frightened or angry or resentful or frustrated or upset. So, one of the things I encourage you to do is think of the qualities and characteristics you want to commit to, what that would look like in terms of the kind of relationship you would recommend to someone you love, and make that the criteria for the kind of relationships you get in and stay in. Basically says, hey, if you want to be in a relationship with me, if you want to be a friend or a lover or a spouse or a co-worker or a family member with me, great. It's about kind of committing to these qualities and characteristics. Now, doesn't mean that we have to do that all the time. We're not perfect. But if we commit to that as our highest purpose, the most important thing I'm doing in life is to access and practice and choose these qualities until they become like second nature, automatic. That is my highest purpose. That's who I am. And that is really the way I would define the kind of relationships I want to be in. Of those people who are kind and considerate and courageous and flexible and curious. All the wonderful qualities and characteristics we would recommend to someone we love. See what that does? It keeps us out of bad relationships. It keeps us out of the relationships that are built on fear or need or shame or some energy that we wouldn't recommend to someone we love. Now, does that mean we're always going to fall in love with the right people? No, because remember, that's a chemical reaction in our brain and our body. It's a wonderful first step. But once we fall in love, once we have that chemical reaction and have that experience, now we got to ask the question, are the qualities and characteristics in this relationship the kind that I would recommend to someone I love? And if so, we can trust that because that will keep us safe. Will it limit the number of relationships we have? Well, probably, but Hey, how many do we need? You know, we're only on the planet for a certain amount of time. And the experience of spending time with someone so colors our life. We want to be very purposeful about who those people are. Now, this isn't about rejecting other people. It's giving them the choice to join us and co-create this relationship in a way that we both would teach to someone we love. One of the things I love to do when I'm talking with parents is have them imagine what it would be like if they interacted with each other in a way that if their children were watching, they would want their children to be taking notes and emulating what they saw. Because guess what? That's what children do. Kids don't always do what we say, but they will almost always do what we do. So when we make doing that, being that way, our highest purpose, we're choosing love as a guide, and it will keep us safe. When we are making those qualities and characteristics the criteria for the kind of relationships we get in and stay in and sustain, it will then keep us safe there. Now, I probably should mention that I'm not talking about using love in a fight or flight situation. If someone's coming at you with a gun, you don't give them a group hug. That may be the time where fear works very nicely. Fear is wonderful in a fight or flight situation. It allows us to either run away or fight or do something, take action in a way where we don't have to think about it, and that's great. But to use fear or worry or concern or shame or need in other aspects of our life, in my opinion, does not help us create the life we want and does not help us create the kind of relationships we would recommend to those we love. So, I'm going to encourage you to just consider, ask yourself, am I practicing choosing the kind of qualities and characteristics that I would recommend to someone I love? Am I using love as a guide? Am I using that kind of love as a guide for the kind of relationships I get in, stay in, sustain? If so, congratulations, keep it up. Do a seminar on it. If not, now here's an opportunity to see something different, to look at maybe life in a different way, saying, okay, what if I was doing that? What would change? Am I willing to trust love to keep me safe during that change and for the rest of my life? I hope you're finding these videos valuable. I am loving bringing them to you. As always, please hit the like button. Google and YouTube really pay a lot of attention to that. If you would like to work with me around this concept, this is sometimes much more easier said than done. Feel free to go to my website, Bill Crawford, Ph.D.com, or just Google Bill Crawford and I'll come up on the first page. Hit the contact button. Let me know what you're interested in. I'd love to work with you around that. If you'd like me to come and do a presentation to your organization, so people within the organization are choosing qualities and characteristics that they would recommend to someone you love. That actually engages a very specific part of the brain, the upper 80% of the brain that I call the top of the mind. That can make a huge difference in the culture of your organization, the quality of your leadership, the effectiveness of your ability to be influential with others. If you're interested in that, let me know. Would love to hear from you as well. In the meantime, here's to you choosing those qualities and characteristics with clarity, bringing them to life with confidence, practicing those, and getting really creative about creating your life in a way that you would recommend to someone you love and allowing that energy to keep you safe. More clarity, confidence, creativity to everything you do. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.